What's up, guys? I've got my first Ultra League video, not this season, but of this return of Ultra League. I kind of just started playing Ultra League pretty much yesterday. The rest of the days were kind of a write-off with birthday celebrations and playing Great League on Monday and stuff like that. But there's been a lot of drama about XL Pokemon. I'm gonna try and make a lot of non-XL teams this season in Ultra League. I do want to save a lot of my dust for well, Great League. I like the league a lot better, so why not? And yeah, so here's my first take at a non-XL team. Let's get right into the gameplay video. Huge shout out to my Patreon supporters, as always. Could not be doing this without you. But let's take a look at the team. Venusaur, Shadow, Snorlax, and Empoleon. I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about... I swear, if I get a question about this now, then I know you didn't watch the video. But is Shadow Snorlax regular Snorlax? Can I use regular Snorlax? Honestly, not 100% sure. I've never run regular Snorlax in Ultra League, so I don't know the matchup differences, but for all intents and purposes, I think it's the same thing here. You're really just looking for a Pokemon that you can kind of catch moves onto, that you can kind of tank up some of this damage, and you can kind of hit back all these fighter switch-ins decently hard. And Snorlax or Shadow Snorlax, I think both of them work perfectly fine here. And then this team plays a little bit like ABV. Venusaur is kind of used to resist the fighting types that threaten Snorlax and Empoleon, and as well, Empoleon is able to kind of deal with those fire types that plague Venusaur a little bit. There are a couple of really big weaknesses with this team, so with the expanding meta of Ultra League Premier, hopefully they don't become so common, but the main one is going to be a Escavalier, right? Escavalier beats all three of these Pokemon decently handily, but Escavalier is just very squishy, so it's not like it can beat all three of them at once. It's going to have some issues taking out more than 1.5 of a Pokemon here. But like I said, we speak of the devil, and here he is. Escavalier in this first game I ever played with the team was kind of disheartening, to be honest, but like I said, even Empoleon does quite a bit of damage with these waterfalls, and if my other Pokemon were healthy enough, I'd be in a much better position to actually take this game. But unfortunately, my opponent knows the counts very well, and they're just throwing right as I get to my moves. So well played to them. Yeah, this team was actually pretty successful until a very bad... I had a little bit of lag, and then I tilted in a set afterwards, but other than that, it's actually performed very well. So we have a loss to an Escavalier team so far. Umbreon lead. Once again, this is something you kind of have to stay in. Similar to the Great League matchup, I believe, where Venusaur can win in the lower shield scenarios, but as soon as you start moving to higher shield scenarios, Umbreon starts doing a little bit better. So let's take a look at what they let through. You can't switch because Snorlax's matchup versus Umbreon is quite quite mediocre. So I'm not going to be able to lick that down. And actually, I'm very glad they switched out there because that would have taken forever. This is why we do have to switch at some point, though, is to draw out that fighter in the back. So regular Machamp, making sure that thing comes out. We already took a shield from it. This is great. We're going to shield the cross chop because I think that taking another shield here might be really important. But unfortunately, I just don't know the matchup yet. And I don't beat this Machamp to that cross chop. And unfortunately, I have to blow another shield. So this time they let it through. And I'm in a little bit of trouble because I have no shields and my Venusaur is not going to like taking any move here. They throw a rock slide. Venusaur is for sure done, but they actually get a little bit greedy and go for the cross chop, giving me a little bit of hope here instead. But in comes either Charizard or Talonflame, so I threw the wrong move. And Empoleon's gonna have to do some work. If I had thrown a Sludge Bomb instead, this would not have happened. But yeah, they combo their moves very well and are going to be able to take out Empoleon. Yeah, I don't throw my move because my only win condition is farming down. But yeah, we'll play to my opponent again. So these were the first two games I ever played with the team. First game was team comp, I think. Second game, I played the Snorlax versus Machamp matchup very poorly. I know how to play that a little bit better now, so we'll see how that goes. We've got Jellicent into Kingdra. So Kingdra is always one of those really annoying switch-ins where if you need to guarantee switch, it's really hard to do that without chipping first. And then I switch into Empoleon just because I don't think I'm going to need to shield any of these moves. I'm trying to be really efficient with the way that they are throwing their damage, right? So they use their not very effective, or sorry, their standard fast move on Venusaur, and whereas I can throw out huge damage with Venusaur and then dip before they get to their charge move and pretty much resist everything that this this Kingdra can throw at me as far as charge moves go. So really just get to save some shields there and get a huge farm down. Unfortunately, the farm down isn't that great. I probably should not have thrown all those moves because I was quite debuffed. And look at this, more debuffs on this team. They're just going for the timeout strategy. I swapped back into Snorlax because I want to line up my Venusaur against the Jellicent later, whereas Snorlax has a pretty decent matchup against whatever. So I'm just sacrificing my Snorlax here to regain alignment. And they do have a Charmer. So this is Venusaur heaven or Empoleon heaven. I think, yeah, I'm going to go in with Venusaur and just shield. The other play, which might have been a little bit better, would have been to go into Empoleon and just tank that move that Granbull is going to throw. And that probably in hindsight would have been the better play. But we're going to beat that Jellicent to a move. Anyways, it needs to get to Shadow Ball. And it just can't. Venusaur is going to be able to take it down, no problem. So we're going to get our first win with the team. Yeah, the team performed a little bit better than I thought it would just right off the bat. It was just it's a very standard team. I'm very excited to get to use Snorlax. I do think it's one of those Pokemon that actually has a decent matchup, or will be decent with all these extra large Pokemon around. Same with Venusaur. Empoleon, I'm not so sure. You don't see it too much in Great League, but it is what it is. So in this case, they counter swap my Snorlax with Kingdra. I get that attack drop, which is very unfortunate. Switch would be really nice to have here, but at the same time, I need shields to take down this Gengar. And Snorlax is an absolute monster. He's going to get to a second body slam. So this is a really big deal because now this Kingdra has a ton of energy, but they don't realize I have an Empoleon on the back to soak it all up. And this will be a really good farm for Empoleon as well. And now that Empoleon has this farm, I'm trying to get farm on Venusaur as well. And unfortunately, I have a Talonflame. I'm going to throw the Sludge Bomb, try and deal as much damage as I can. Empoleon already has a move, so the farm down isn't important for me. Because I just need to get off one Hydro Cannon into that Gengar. And I don't want to take too much damage from this flame-charging Talonflame. So I'm going to just bet that I can get to that Hydro Cannon before I get Shadow Clawed down by Gengar, and they realize it, right? 2 shields, there's no way they can get to three Shadow Punches, so. Yeah, that's how we have to play the shield advantage there. They really wanted switch because they wanted to line up Gengar versus Venusaur, but Gengar versus Venusaur isn't even that good, I would say. Because you can only tank one Frenzy Plant. And if they go to 2 shields, you can't even tank the one Frenzy Plant, so. Oops. Sorry, guys. Didn't cut out that, that failed to connect. Okay, so we have Obstagoon lead. This is absolutely where you want to see the Goon. So we'll hope that they stay in. And it looks like they will. A lot of these Goon leads, they stay in against anything that's on a fighter. But I'm still wary about a catch. That's why I farm up a lot. Yeah, and they're going to throw their Night Slash again. I get a no shields. And just hope that they don't get the boost here. Getting the boost allows them to counter down Venusaur, I think, from this range. Oh, wait, does that actually happen this game? Oh, no, don't tell me this happens this game. But I get to this Frenzy Plant first again. So at this point, I'm actually okay letting my Venusaur go down. I've taken shield advantage with Venusaur. And this is their hardest counter to my backline. Fortunately, I do get the boost here, so my Empoleon takes 25% of its HP trying to deal just the last little bit of damage. Ampharos comes in, I throw 2 waterfalls and then a hydro cannon, so I can catch that volt switch damage on my Snorlax, and then I get to this body slam. So at this point I'm shielding regardless if it's a bait or not, because I should have CMP tied in this body slam, which I did, and I'll be able to take out their Ampharos with a Thunder Punch worth of energy. So in comes Skarmory, and this game is all but over. Empoleon already does quite well versus Skarmory, and then I have shield advantage, and I have Snorlax. So there really isn't too much play here unless I make some big mistakes. Go with the superpower to get farmed down a little bit slower, which I think my switch timer's up anyways. Just does a little bit more damage than body slam. And we're going to take this first set 3-2 despite an awful start. Absolutely awful start. Yeah, I dropped quite a bit during the birthday stream and the day after, the hungover stream. So it was the first real day I felt like I got to play Ultra League in on the Thursday of the first week. Machamp lead, so this is also where you want to see it, right? We don't want this Machamp anywhere near Snorlax or Empoleon, and they're electing to stay in. I'm not sure about an Ultra League, but in Great League they can just go straight cross chop and win. Luckily they rock slide first, so I don't have to worry about that, because they rock slide first I can beat them to the next move. And I'm gonna do just that. I want to force the issue, make them shield first, and then we'll shield this up as well, because we can't. This is too much HP for an Empoleon to take out a Machamp. And they make a great catch on a Talonflame here, so good counting by them. But these catches, they don't really help all that much. So Empoleon is a great counter to most of the stuff that you would be trying to catch Frenzy Plant on. It just resists the Brave Bird, which is the most important part from Talonflame. And they're going to come back in with Machamp. I'm throwing Hydro Cannon. I throw Hydro Cannon just in case they want to come in with a different Pokemon. It just has better coverage, and it's enough to KO. You don't need Drill Peck. So, for example, if they came in with their short Snorlax there, I would have been able to just Hydro Cannon that instead of dealing a little bit less damage with Drill Peck. So, Shadow Snorlax, I'm bringing my own Shadow Snorlax. This is so cute. It's a little rave. Okay. But the reason I do this, I want them to get that superpower off first to debuff themselves. They don't have another Pokemon, right? So even if they take out my Snorlax, they're going to double debuff themselves. And I'll be able to Vine Whip down. Or get to the Frenzy Plant. Body Slam wouldn't KO at that point, right? Because they're double debuffed. So that's why it's kind of important to switch in the Pokemon that requires them to use their self-debuffing move first. Especially if they have no Pokemon left. Well, only if they have no Pokemon left. Oh, I think the IVs for my Empoleon are wrong. I don't know why I didn't save. So don't leave me comments about that either. Alright, so Venusaur switching. This one's a bit tough. I don't really have a good answer to Venusaur on this team either. So we're going to chip it and dip it. I'm actually charging up to let them get to a move for my Venusaur. I know the switch timers are going to be a bit out of sync here, but I want to get into my Snorlax. I realize they're almost at a Frenzy Plant already, so they're at like 2 Frenzy Plants now, almost. But Snorlax can pretty comfortably tank one, and I go for the 1 lick and then throw to see if they're going to shield, and they do. So I'm going to also shield. And we're going to see if we can't lick this Venusaur all the way down. That would be a pretty big advantage, but they're going to come with Charizard instead. This is also fine. Getting this out of the way for Venusaur is fantastic. And their Venusaur is a little bit too low to do anything. The issue is that they kind of farmed all the way down, and a Blast Burn hurts quite a bit from Empoleon, but unfortunately I do have to tank. I have to save my shield for their the rest of their line. Because yeah, they're gonna come with Swampert. I'm gonna come back in with Venusaur, and I don't want them to get to Hydro Cannon, so we're gonna throw right before that. Get that Frenzy Plant off. See what they want to do about it. If they want to shield, and they do. And I'm going to get to the next Frenzy Plant before they even get to their EQ. I think they were just trying to maybe charge up to double, but it didn't matter in this case. And I'm going to be able to take out their Venusaur, no problem afterwards. It's energy dry, so as long as my Venusaur even has a little bit of an advantage, we're going to be able to win that one. Yep, this next game versus Gutswang. Jellicent lead. You love to see it. Lots of water leads right now. Lots of water and fighting leads. So it's great to see. I swap a little bit slow because I'm not too used to having a Alolan Ninetales switch in on my Venusaur in Ultra League. Still not very used to a lot of these matchups, but holy, if Empoleon does not have a dominating matchup versus Alolan Ninetales. Like, look at that Dazzling Gleam. I switch so slow, and it just doesn't matter. I'm going to be able to farm all the way down. I'll be able to take another Dazzling Gleam if they're at it, which they're not. So Empoleon is going to live with a ton of health, full charge move, no shield spent, and no danger is the most important part. There was never any danger I was going to lose switch there. So unfortunately, Jellicent comes back, and we've seen this before. Jellicent is so tanky in Ultra League. His Drill Peck does nothing. Does nothing. But we're going to be smart about this time, and we're going to switch into Snorlax. And good thing they switched into Ferrothorn, because this is another Pokemon that kind of breaks that Venusaur Empoleon core that we might start seeing a little bit more of in Ultra League. It's some of these steel types. But because there's 2 shields up, I'm going to go for the bait. I don't bait a lot, so people fall for my baits a lot, so it feels pretty great. But at this point, I just need to get to 2 superpowers, because I need to land one on this Ferrothorn to make it kind of a fair fight at all. The problem is the switch timer is kind of really ticking down at this point. So they actually have the ability to catch one of these superpowers. And it would be a disaster if they, for example, caught it on Jellicent, who resists, double resists superpower. So I'm going to switch out of there now that I'm double debuffed. Or should I don't even throw my move right away? I'm trying to charge up a little bit more to get an advantage on this Ferrothorn. Yeah, and throw with proper timing. So the way to avoid that catch on Snorlax was to throw 2 more licks after my first superpower. So if they did swap, I wouldn't have to throw my energy there, and I'd be in a much better position. Because now we're going to have to throw Sludge Bombs at Steel types to win this game. And it is a little bit tough, but luckily Venusaur resists Power Whip. So it is Mirror Shot that's coming out here. So Venusaur will be able to get to another Sludge Bomb, which is kind of important. Because Empoleon can't really do anything here, and Snorlax needs to get to a superpower. But once the Ferrothorn is this low, you can kind of just deal with it with whatever. There's no way it can bank 3 moves. So we're completely fine. Choose Empoleon to waterfall down that that Ferrothorn, just because I feel like it was the MVP of that game. Let's give it that little bit of time to shine at the end as well. So Politoed lead right into Kingdra, so another annoying switch in that the team doesn't really have any hard answer to. But we're going to hit it with the Frenzy Plant. They're going to shield. I'm going to stay in. We're going to tank a move. Well, likely an Octazooka, unfortunately. Just so the debuff isn't applied. Because they did shield, and we're going to go with an Empoleon, because while Kingdra hits Empoleon like a wet noodle, Empoleon also hits Kingdra like a wet noodle. So if I don't have that huge Frenzy Plant HP advantage, I don't want to be taking an Outrage on Empoleon and potentially losing Switch. And in this case, I do tank an Outrage. And I might lose Switch. But if I'm going to lose Switch, I might as well at least take both shields. So we're going to see what they elect to do here. Yeah, they think that Switch advantage is pretty important, right? They had that Politoed. It's true. Switch advantage probably is very important to them. And probably also because of what they have in the back. In this case, I shield my Venusaur as well, even though it's just an Octazooka. And this one I should have known. I'm really bad at counting Kingdra specifically. But they come in with Talonflame. And I'm going to throw a Sludge Bomb and get out of there. I only throw 1 Vine Whip because I don't want to take the Incinerate damage. I throw 2 Vine Whips, I take the Incinerate damage. But they're going to come in with Politoed, and we're going to see who wins the 0 shield Politoed versus Snorlax. And I'm of the mind that I might not even want to win this matchup. I might want to give my Venusaur an opportunity to farm down. It just needs to get to a Sludge Bomb versus this. Yeah, Earthquake. Ooh, I think Weather Ball's more DPE. But I just want to give my Venusaur an opportunity to get to that Sludge Bomb. Or Snorlax an opportunity to lick down and get to a Body Slam. So Snorlax is able to lick down. We're going to get to the Body Slam. This is going to be quite a bit of damage. And my switch timer's up. So I'm going to go into Venusaur. Well, no, they're going to snipe me first with their energy. That's fine. We're going to go with Venusaur. And we just have to Frenzy Plant. But for some reason, button doesn't work. So that's a rip. And this is where the tilt began. Right there. But yeah, so very annoying. That was our first loss of the set. And it was because we could not hit a button for 5 turns? 6 turns, I believe. So very annoying. So Drifblim, switch in. Actually, I like to go with Empoleon over over Snorlax. The Snorlax versus Drifblim matchup isn't as nice as you would think, just because your charge moves don't do anything, and you just get Icy Wind spam down if the Drifblim swaps fast enough. Or I guess they swapped in first. If Snorlax swaps slow enough, you have some issues. So I'm actually just going to call that Icy Wind bait. I want to take 2 shields. If they're going to take switch for me, I'm going to take 2 shields. I don't really care about switch all that much if it means I get 2 shields. Also, the Drifblim is in a perfect position now to lick all the way down, right? So at full health, Snorlax isn't great against Drifblim, but if Drifblim is only at half HP, those licks are super effective, and we're going to force that that Toxicroak actually to come in. And this Toxicroak is probably the biggest threat to my Snorlax. I really want to take this guy out. And Venusaur not too bad against Toxicroak. I think I no shield this one. I shouldn't have shielded the first one. The first one was also obviously a Mud Bomb, but I was not counting. And I try to undercharge this a little bit, but I fail. But it is what it is. If I had a little bit more energy, you would be able to take out this Drifblim as well. But it is what it is. I still have in a decent scenario because I can lick down with the Snorlax, and actually they come in with a Bombasnow. So instead of switching out right away, I actually throw this Sludge Bomb, a debuff Sludge Bomb. And then I get a little bit greedy, and instead of going for the superpower, I'm going to go for the Body Slam. And we're going to be able to take them out right before. I think they're going for the Energy Ball for the KO. Makes sense. Weather Ball's not enough. But yeah, Snorlax is going to be able to Body Slam down. Oh, just the imagery of Body Slamming like a pillow out of the air. Just Snorlax, so cute. But yeah, that would have been a 5-0 had there not been lag. But unfortunately, it is what it is, right? So on to our final set of the video. Let's see how this one goes. We're going to get a little bit more luck with the lag. I turned on location services after that, or the location trick. I wasn't playing with it because I was a little bit lazy, but here we are. This is not a good lead. Shadow, shiny Cantomuck. That's a big flex. And they're going to come in with the Swampert. So Snorlax versus Swampert is not the best, but it's also not the worst. I think you can win shield or switch here. If whoever switches first, usually. 2 Hydro Cannons, unfortunately, is enough to take out Shadow Snorlax. No, I actually have to shield if I want to pressure, but I don't. I know I live this, and then I think they actually live this too. If I remember correctly. So in hindsight, I may not even want to have thrown the Body Slam, just because my farm is going to be a little bit worse. I was hoping to get quite a bit of farm and be able to throw a Frenzy Plant at the Muck. But yeah, this is a really spicy team. Muck in the front, Shadow Gyarados in the back. Empoleon's matchup versus Gyarados is pretty decent. It's all about just shielding charge moves. And that's what I failed to do on this one. So we're going to take the crunch and try and build up this shield advantage here. See if this Gyarados wants to let this through. Because Venusaur with a shield advantage is incredibly scary. And Empoleon actually wins this matchup with a shield up. So the Muck gets a little bit of an energy lead. So I'm gonna call a bait first. Yeah, we're gonna call that Thunder Punch bait, and that's all important to win this right now. If I don't call that and I take a Dark Pulse instead, the game is over. But because they bait, I think if they just went straight Dark Pulse, they would have won. But because of the bait, they've given me some life in this game. Obviously, I'm going to shield anything. If it's Thunder Punch, whatever, shield it now. Because I just need to get to 2 moves. And we're going to be able to get just to 2 moves right here. Hopefully they didn't CMP tie on this one. And Venusaur is going to get to take down a Muck. Nope, sorry, not a Muck, regular Muck, K-Muck. K-Muck. Yeah, so able to win out of a bad lead there without winning switch advantage. So that's pretty impressive by the team. And it's not like the switch did anything either too, right? Like I didn't gain a shield advantage out of my switch, so just well played by them. Game versus Pixelator. Galv lead is kind of rough. I've been trying to debate how to play these. You can tank a lunge really comfortably in Ultra League. So I'm going to tank a lunge and then just switch. Because now I'll be able to use this energy a little bit better later. Against the Galv when I'm out debuffed. So they'll be more likely to shield my move. And now we have the Mandibuzz counter swap. So many XL Pokemon on all these teams nowadays. They're just so tanky, so strong. Snorlax obviously does not have a good time versus Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz can kind of abuse this matchup because the licks are resisted and end this with a little bit more energy. And this one is running Dark Pulse. I'm trying to throw with proper move timing here so they get less free moves or 3 free turns in. But I can actually choose to win switch, but I've realized switch doesn't actually shield anyways. Switch doesn't really do too much here. I throw 2 licks. If you throw 3, you get hit by the Volt Switch. So throw 2 licks, throw the Body Slam, force the shield. And then I kind of have to come back in with Venusaur. We're going to go for the Frenzy Plant because I'm not debuffed yet. So it's going to hit hard if they don't shield. I'll shield up this lunge because now I know I can get to the Sludge Bomb. And we're going to throw in the middle of their move so that they cannot catch. And unfortunately, I'm going to try and snipe this spider before I can get to another move. But I cannot. And I get absolutely demolished by this discharge. And the mud shots are just enough to take out my Empoleon. Get the Hydro Cannon off this match. Might be a little bit of a different story. But they're going to be able to comfortably build to that Earthquake instead of risking it or rolling the dice with the Hydro Cannon. And they're going to be able to win this game. So, well played to my opponent. Losing the lead in the swap is very hard there, and I guess making that snipe play was pretty not smart. So we have Empoleon lead. I'm going to throw out 7, just so they can't catch, but Empoleon lead is oftentimes the infamous Empoleon Double Dragon. Venusaur is a really good matchup versus Empoleon, so we're just going to go shields down. And they're going to come in with Kingdra. So same thing as before. If they don't shield, we're just gonna actually in this case, because they came in when I had energy, we're just gonna come in with Snorlax. Not gonna shield. I think I can tank an Outrage. Yep, comfortably tank an Outrage and lick all the way down. Now we have a little bit of energy for whatever comes back in. Likely the Dragonite, right? Because they don't want to have to shield their Empoleon superpower. And look how much damage that Body Slam does. Shadow on Shadow Violence. That's insane amount of damage. But luckily, I do have Empoleon here to soak up a lot of the energy that they've built. They have their own Empoleon as well. I'm just banking a move and getting out to my Venusaur. The problem is this Empoleon now has a little bit of an energy advantage, so it's a bit scary. Yeah, so I threw not great timing. I think I was trying to throw it 4, but my clicks weren't registering. But we're able to take down that Empoleon anyways. Get a Sludge Bomb versus this Dragonite. And as long as this Dragonite doesn't have Draco Meteor, we're okay. And not a lot of Shadow Dragonites are running Draco Meteor. That's for sure. Yeah, here we go. We have Drill Peck. It's going to be enough. The stored Drill Peck is going to be enough. Even a Hydro Cannon would have been enough at this point. Yeah, we're going to be able to take that win as well versus the Empoleon Double Dragon team. Not that hard of a matchup. Definitely has some play. So if you're seeing a lot of it, it's pretty good. Shadow Shiftry lead. This is an insanely spicy, insanely expensive lead. But we're going to shield Foul Play. You can tank one, but it's likely that they're not baiting on the first one, whereas they can't tank a Sludge Bomb at all. So I'm gonna bait the first one. It's only a little bit of an advantage, but I'm gonna let this next one through. I think. See how much damage it does, because I actually don't know. We're gonna throw with some proper move timing, get that Sludge Bomb out there, and take out that Shadow Shiftry. So we're gonna win lead versus Shiftry, and in comes what I thought was Galarian Stunfisk, but it was actually Excadrill. So we're gonna make a catch onto Snorlax. This is what Snorlax is here for, right? You're here to take some moves. And they're gonna bank a move and switch out into Blastoise. This is by far the most spicy team I faced in Ultra League so far. So props to my opponent. But Blastoise is gonna have some real big issues versus Empoleon, unless it's running Skull Bash, and even then I think it's gonna have some real big issues. But they do actually, it also has issues versus Venusaur, so good undercharge by them to get a little bit more energy. A little bit scary for my Venusaur, how much energy they have. I don't want to shield, so we're going to come in with Empoleon. My Venusaur already has a move, so it's all about getting that energy on Empoleon to try and take out this Excadrill. Yeah, so I want to get this Hydro Cannon off. And now Drill Run is likely going to take me out. I want to get all these shields down, and I want to pressure this Excadrill to have to throw, or to take out that Excadrill, sorry. Yeah, so with only one shield left and a bank move on my Venusaur, all I need to do is reach the Hydro Cannon there. That's why going full shields down it can be very risky. I think this might be the last game of our set. We have a Galarian Stunfisk lead, and in comes Galvantula. So despite winning the lead, we still have this very tough lead to deal with of our own. Gonna tank the lunge, throw the bomb, even if it's debuffed, a shield, and we're gonna go into Snorlax to clear the debuff. We now have shield advantage, and I get to the body slam at the exact same time as the Galvantula, unfortunately, and lose CMP. Should have farmed up a little bit more. This were the case, because now they're gonna be able to switch out soon. And yeah, we're going to be able to barely lick down there. Very important. But having this energy for the next matchup is going to be important too, right? With the G-Fist coming back in. These debuff superpowers still really hurt. So yeah, I'm kind of forcing them to avoid farming me all the way down. Yeah, and the fact that they have to throw is just very huge. And I can come in with Empoleon here and kind of not let them get to that Earthquake if I can take them out in one, which I can't. So we're gonna have to shield what is obviously an Earthquake, but Empoleon gets a little bit of a head start. Energy advantage here. We're gonna throw the Drill Peck, and since Venusaur outpaces, we have to consider dipping to our own Venusaur. So I'm gonna no shield because I want to save the shield for Empoleon. Get to a move guaranteed, since my Venusaur should be able to get to one. Throw the Frenzy Plant, get their shield, and this is a pretty comfortable position now. And they realized that they got baited, and I called their bait, so that's just a win there. And we're gonna see another 4 set here, so a lot of wins actually. After the first 2 games, I believe we only had 1 real loss that wasn't just straight up lag. The team seems pretty solid. I'm sure this isn't the final form of this team. I'm sure that this team can be improved in some ways. I kind of just threw this one together really quick, but yeah, I'll be looking to create a couple more Ultra League teams, probably Premier, as I think I've kind of exhausted what I can do in Open as far as Talonflame goes. And that's my only XL, right? So if you got it, flaunt it. But yeah, so anyways, if you made it this far in the video, thanks again so much for watching and supporting me. Appreciate it, and feel free to leave me some comments. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. But I swear, if I see 1 comment about the Shadow Snorlax work as well as regular Snorlax or something like that, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. I lose it. But yeah, thanks for watching.